Brigsby Bear is the recent independent film that came out a couple months back that I'm actually kind of surprised hasn't been talked about a whole lot. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, The Lonely Island, produced the film. It stars someone from SNL, Kyle Mooney. I thought for sure this movie would have like a little bit more attention going towards it, especially because this movie's been critically praised a bunch on Rotten Tomatoes, but a lot of the YouTube movie reviewers I follow haven't really covered it like at all, and that's just kind of weird to me, especially after seeing the film, because I was really enamored by it. Unfortunately, I can't tell you much about the film though, which is why I've been struggling with doing this review for a couple days now, because I simply just have not been able to find out how I can talk about this movie without giving a lot away. Going into this movie completely blind will actually benefit your viewing experience. I can give you a brief synopsis, but I can't give you the whole thing. Basically, a man named James, played by Kyle Mooney, is in love with the show Brigsby Bear, and when he finally decides, hey, I want to make a movie about this, he gets a group of friends and they start to make this movie. And that's really all I can really say about that. It's kind of similar in The Disaster Artist as far as getting inspired to make a film. This is about a bunch of people who are inspired to come together and work to create this film. And unlike The Disaster Artist, though, where it's about the making of The Room, the worst movie ever made, this one actually, it means a little bit more to the people there making it. It's not really much so like, we're gonna make this great movie or anything like that. It's just more so, we're gonna make this film together. And I love that kind of inspiration right there. Even though it could be good or it could be bad, you can still get together, and as long as you're having fun making a film, like, it really doesn't matter, like, as far as how good or bad it turns out, as long as they had fun making it, and if it actually means something to them by completing it. And Kyle Mooney, as the main character James, is excellent in this film. In fact, I might go as far to say that he could deserve an Oscar nomination. I know the Oscars are going to completely skip over this movie, though, which is kind of insulting, but his performance is so special because in the hands of another actor, it could have come across as completely annoying, just totally out there in your face, and that's just not what you really need out of this character. Kyle Mooney kind of had that perfect balance of, he is a little quirky, but he is a person. Like, you can still connect with him as a person, and his storyline in particular is a very unique one that is very grasping. Like, in the first minute of the movie, you'll be instantly gravitated to his situation and what's going on there. Once again, I can't spoil anything, but you will be interested heavily, and seeing this character progress throughout the entire film is going to be something you're gonna love watching, because you want to see what happens because of how unique his situation is. I also really love the performance by Mark Hamill in this movie. He was very good. He's not in the movie all the time, but whenever he does show up, he does do something that will kind of tug at your heart a little bit. Like, maybe you don't want it to, but it'll be just like, well, I can't help it. My heart is being tugged at by you, Mark Hamill. You also have characters within James's family, like his parents. I was a little worried mainly because in the writing, as opposed to just the performance, but in the writing, the parents could have been taken in a way that could have come across as completely unbelievable and annoying, but what the parents kind of do in this film and how they kind of act, it feels natural to what could happen in real life. It doesn't feel unrealistic. It feels like something actual parents could go through if they were placed into this specific situation. And even James's sister, who was in the house, which was terrible, but she was actually, not bad in it. She's actually pretty good here, too. Once again, nervous at first, oh, is this just gonna be, annoying sister? But it actually turned out to be a little bit better as she and James interact a little bit more, and you see that kind of bond grow. In the end of the movie, she turned out to be a really cool character, as well as James's other friends that are hanging out. They're also really cool in this film, and even Greg Kinnear, who plays a part in this film, he's actually pretty good, too. Once again, worried at first with, are they gonna be to go this route with this kind of character, but they did something that was kind of sweet and special, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice, Greg Kinnear. If you couldn't tell, I was pretty surprised frequently throughout this film because I was watching it and just thinking about other movies. I was just like, okay, are they gonna do this now, or are they gonna do this? Are you gonna act this way? And then seeing them just do stuff that actually fit perfectly with the story, I was just like, oh, okay, thank goodness for that. I can see why this movie's beloved right now by a lot of people, because this film, not only is it just very well made, but the story goes in ways that you wouldn't really expect. Even if you did see the second trailer, which I advise you don't, you would still be kind of surprised that they don't go just kind of generic kind of movie route. They go like in a way that feels right. As I already mentioned, the film is well acted, it's very well directed, very well written too. The screenplay of this film is honestly one of the best of the year, not just because of its originality, but how they really do make that inspirational theme just carry on. Even if the situation isn't something that everyone can relate to, it's something very unique to James, it's still something that you can gravitate towards and feel inspired by in the end. Something that the Disaster Artist recently did. And this kind of leads me to my only flaw with this film, which is something the Disaster Artist does a little bit better, which is, you know what The Room is. And if you didn't know what The Room was before you saw the Disaster Artist, they did enough in the film where like they're filming the scenes and then they're showing the scenes on the big screen and how people are reacting to it when they're reading the script, and you kind of get a feel of like what the film is and what it's about. That way, when you do get to the ending of the Disaster Artist, it kind of impacts you more. In this movie, they show them filming it, and they have montages of it, but unfortunately they don't really dive into what the film overall is about. And I think if they actually like tried to get into like the screenwriting mindset of that kind of process, that could have actually built to a really satisfying conclusion when you finally see like this is what they were working towards this whole time, you know, instead of just seeing like now they're over here filming this one and then they're going over here to film this. Because what they do show from the film, it just kind of feels like one of those homemade movies that they show in a lot of big movies where people are just gonna like applaud no matter what, pretty much. And though I was pretty emotionally satisfied a lot during the ending of the film, I think that having more time to delve into what the film is about and what's going on, like, story-wise, I think that actually could have built up to an even better satisfying conclusion, you know what I mean? Overall, though, I can't recommend this film enough. If you want to be a filmmaker, this can inspire you a lot. It can also inspire you to create creative things and go different directions that people might be expecting you not to go. But then you actually do go in a specific direction and you remind the audience that this isn't just some generic film you can get anywhere. The performances are all great. Kyle Mooney, I wish in like the back of my head, just like the smallest chance, maybe he can get nominated, but I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think it'd be well deserved though. I also really enjoyed Mark Hamill, even though that's not particularly Oscar worthy. It's another great performance from Mark Hamill this year, like he was in The Last Jedi. I'm gonna give Brigsby Bear an A. If you haven't checked it out yet, I honestly don't understand why, because it is so unique. A lot of people have been talking about it so much. You'd think more people would go see it, yet not too many people have. If you haven't seen it, there's still time before the end of the year. You can put it on your best list, because honestly, it might be on mine, because I really did enjoy it a lot. But if you've seen Brigsby Bear already, leave in the comments below what you thought of it, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.